So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome to the Connecting with Coincidence radio show with Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, bringing together the world's synchronicity experts to help you use meaningful coincidences to develop spiritually, psychologically, and practically. For more information, put Connecting with Coincidence into your web browser to find the book, website, Psychology Today blog, YouTube channel, and Facebook page. And now, here is the host of the Connecting with Coincidence radio show, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD.
Oh, thank you, and thank you. I'm Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and this is Connecting with Coincidences. We study coincidences here, and one of the things that I want you to know about coincidences is they are increased under various circumstances. And those circumstances include high emotion, need, and whether or not you are in transition. When you tear the web of ordinary reality, which these things do, coincidences fly in. There are lots of ways that coincidences can appear more regularly, being sick, vacations, using mind-altering drugs. Major loss and major gains will increase coincidences, but so will love, particularly romantic love. I have a post on my Psychology Today blog relating synchronicity and love, particularly romantic love. They feed on each other. Romantic love breeds synchronicities, synchronicities breed love. And sometimes those intense emotions make people feel that their love is forever. There's a kind of infinity and eternity that takes place in the combination of romance and synchronicity. My blog talks about the wonder of that, but you also need to be a little careful. I encourage you to sharpen your sensitivity to coincidences and to examine their potential use and misuses and explanations. You can read my book, Connecting with Coincidences, and learn along with me and with my guests. Synchronicity is spoken here. Our guest today is Gunnar Reefschlager. Gunnar Reefschlager got his degree in psychology with a focus on clinical and health psychology at the University of Koblanz-Landau campus at Landau, Germany. He's now working as a clinical psychologist at the Bezirkskrankenhaus Lohr Am Main Clinic, currently stationed at the day hospital Am Rosensee in Aschaffenburg, Germany. He was an analytical candidate at the C.G. Jung Institute in Stuttgart, Germany. And most importantly for our interview today, he's done a dissertation on synchronicity in psychotherapy at the Europa University in Frankfurt. Welcome to the show, Gunnar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bateman, and thank you very much for the nice introduction. I'm very happy to be on the show and for the invitation to be here and to speak about my dissertation, which I released this year. So thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, I'm very interested in your dissertation and want to get some background on how that happened. How did you get the idea of writing a dissertation about synchronicities in psychotherapy?
Well, it was in my university time at Koblanz-Landau, where I got in the field of clinical psychology a subject for one semester, and it included a seminar about analytical psychology, and there I was, for the first time, I came in contact with Carl Jung's ideas and concepts, and I was very happy about this, that I also found out that there exists this part of psychology, because all the other parts in German universities, all the other parts of subjects, very much on statistics and numbers, and somehow the feeling got out of the subject. So I was very happy about that I came across this subject, analytical psychology, and I was fascinated about Carl Jung and symbolism, and how he integrated also other cultures into psychology and psychotherapy. And at the same time, I was fascinated about research in general. And I found out that in the field of analytical psychology, there has been not so much research as in many other fields of psychology.
Yeah,
and,
it's really true. There's a lot of theorizing. There is often a reification of Jung. So just because Jung wrote it, it's going to be true. And in regard to synchronicity, Jung used the term in so many different ways that it can be confusing. So to have some research done and that's more organized is what the next step needed to be. Jung would want that to happen, and you've decided to do it in psychotherapy, and I was delighted to hear how you saw psychology losing the feeling. It definitely has. And there's a lot of feeling that comes out with Jung and synchronicity. So how did you get into doing the research in psychotherapy?
So it was you mean how I conducted the research?
How did you decide to do synchronicities during psychotherapy?
Well, it was that during my studies, so I wanted to be a researcher, so I found this very interesting, and it fascinated me, research in general, and I got to know it. And then I thought, maybe there are some ways how I could combine it to make research in analytical psychology. And I was just actually looking around the internet if there are any researchers, current actual researchers in Germany where I could write a dissertation on after my diploma thesis. And I found Christian Rössler, who is a very known researcher here in Germany and also in Switzerland. And he suggested to me the idea of doing an empirical based study on synchronicities, which was based on his ideas first of a different empirical approaches.
Empirical, and we want to get our audience to know what we're talking about. And one of the questions I have, and I hope you looked at it, is that that Jungians like to say, Jungian therapists like to say that the therapist's problems walk into the office, that you can look at your patient and see problems that are like yours. In fact, the Jungian person that I had on the show, Helen Marlowe, made that a standard part of what she did when someone walked into the office. And we talked about some coincidences in that therapy and how in her therapy experience and how that helped her. So what were the questions that you asked of your research in regard to synchronicity and psychotherapy?
So, I used in my research like 3 different approaches. I interviewed participants, but I also at the same time I made a survey which I transcribed to letters, but also in the internet. And then I asked actually that the participant should state or should just tell his or her experience with synchronicity in the frame or in the field of psychotherapy. So, what
was the question you wanted to answer with your research?
So I wanted to find or to build an empirical based framework of the concept of synchronicity, so as a first step. And by this I tried to look how is synchronicity or the concept of synchronicity happening in reality in therapies. So
how did you define synchronicity, Gunnar?
So I define synchronicity as a concept of creating meaning in one's life by encountering another person and by an aspect which is happening or which can happen by accident, but which has a very powerful input.
Effect on the person. But you really haven't told me yet what synchronicity is. You're talking about its effect, which is an important part of it. But for Jung and for sometimes, and for me, it was thinking about something and whatever that is happens in front of you. Mind has an idea, and then it happens in the environment. And I didn't hear that in what you just said.
Yeah, then I misunderstood your question. I'm sorry. I don't have the perfect English understanding.
Yeah, ich verstehe. So I wanted to know what you define synchronicity to be.
Yeah, what it is.
What is
when like two persons somehow encounter each other, and one person is, for example, thinking about a certain aspect of life, and the other person somehow feels it as well, and also says it. And then when he says it, and the other person, for example, is also understanding or having a similar feeling or thought, then I would say this is like a synchronistic moment. So it is also that, for example, with my past.
We're coming to the end of this, and I want to be able to go to some more details. But there's something about the two people thinking something around the same time, and one of them confirming that he's thinking about that with the other person. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. And our guest is Gunnar Reefschlager.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shamans worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
Yes, and yes again. Welcome back to you Connecting with Coincidence. I am Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and we're talking with Gunnar Reefschlager about synchronicity in psychotherapy. And I want to get the clarity of the definition here, because the simple version that I like is the therapist sees problems the therapist is dealing with in the patient. I've got plenty of examples of that in my own practice and from other people. And so that's a form of what I heard you say, Gunnar, that one person is thinking one thing and the other person is thinking that, and then one of them says it, and you're probably the patient, and that becomes a synchronicity. Is that getting where you are going?
Yeah. It is getting where I wanted to go.
Good. Why don't you give us one of your best examples of that as a part of psychotherapy research?
Yeah, well, for example, in one story, it was that a patient was talking about that her wish to be independent, and that, for example, she had one night a dream about a cat, and she told the therapist about a black cat. And right in this moment, there came a black cat through the window of the therapist, went around the patient, and went out again of the window. And this incident has such a big impact both on the therapist but also on the patient, that she really felt like a confidence like she never felt before, in a way of being independent and independent like a cat, like she dreamed the night before. So this was maybe one of the most impressive synchronicities I heard about in the.
Well, that's a good one, and that's close to the scarab story of Jung. That at the moment of the dream being told in the scarab story, the scarab being a beetle-like symbol from Egypt, she was dreaming of a piece of jewelry that had this scarab on it, and Jung goes to the window as she's telling the story and picks out a beetle who was hanging around at the window and brings it and presents it to her, and it makes a dramatic shift in her thinking. And that's just what you describe with the cat. A black cat walks into the room. That's a good one. That is a very good one. That's a very good one. That happened. That's a little different from the way we were talking about it earlier, but that's very much a classical. I've heard other ones like this. There are ones that happen between the therapist and the patient too, and there are ones where the patient tells the therapist about a synchronicity that happened outside of therapy. Are they included in your research, and what examples do you have?
Yeah, well, I have both. I sent the link, or the survey, my questions. So does the synchronistic event, did it help you? I sent both to patients and to therapists, and but I don't have information. I did not look at patients who who explained synchronicities in the psychotherapeutical session. This I don't have. I only have when they either explained it to me that by the end of the therapy or during a therapy they experienced a synchronistic moment, or I have also synchronistic stories from therapists. But as when I understood you correctly, then I don't have
ones where the patient reported outside of therapy synchronicities. So you stayed with ones that went on in the therapy or between the therapist and the patient. So that cat one is a great one. Could you tell us some of the other ones? I'm particularly interested in ones where the patient has a problem that's similar to the therapist. Did you have ones like that?
Let me think a moment. So I collected about 50 different synchronistic stories.
Good.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but yeah.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, to answer your question, I think there was one where a therapist told me that she experienced a patient who had a very similar background like her. And when she found out in the first sessions about the background of the patient, then she suddenly felt like she was somehow connected with her. She had a very different feeling than with with many other patients where she did not feel a certain background. And one day the patient did not show up, and the therapist was wondering about what was going on. And normally, like she never does, she decided to call the patient. So it was a younger patient, was a youth, was a younger patient, a teen, and there she decided to call her to look after her, because she had the feeling that something was not going right, and in fact she had an accident on the way to the therapist. And in this moment the therapist could say, okay, wait, I call help, and then this was like somehow a very deep connection. And
you think the therapist intuited that the patient had some kind of trauma, and that's why she called?
Exactly.
So it's a kind of what I call simulpathic experience, where where people who are connected, one person can feel the pain of the other one at a distance, and that is an example of there are many simulpathic-like experiences. I wanted to mention one about somebody that I knew told me this story, that the patient was a married man who presented for treatment of depression related to his daughter's serious illness. In the initial consultation with the patient, it became clear that the patient and therapist shared similar histories. They were the same age. They had been married the same length of time. They had daughters born within 1 month of each other. And each of these daughters, and this is most important, was born with severe congenital defects that were life-threatening. Each patient was, of course, worried about the long-term prognosis and struggling to make complicated medical decisions. That is even more background than what you had mentioned before, because the patient had come to therapy with that as his major issue.
Yeah.
So that's the problems that I'm interested in. That cat one is great. Do you have a good example of another one that happened within therapy?
Well, also in the with another therapist told me that during like a therapy session, also with a 14-year-old girl, the girl was describing how strong, or not strong, but how obsessive her mother was, that she never let freedom to her child, and that she was controlling her a lot and looking after her, but in an excessive way, that it was not good for the young patient. And when she was telling this to the therapist, the mother was also calling in this right moment her daughter, and it showed to the therapist a clear sign how obsessive also the daughter, the mother was, because before she did not believe the patient a lot, and with this synchronistic moment, she felt much convinced and much closer, and could create more empathy and more understanding for the patient, where she really felt for her. And this was like
the therapist could feel for her, is what you mean?
The therapist could feel.
The therapist had acted out in front of her what the patient was trying to tell her about the mother's obsessive interest in what was going on with the patient. So the therapist, by that call, the therapist could be convinced that there really was some truth to what the patient was telling her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
As we come to the end of this session, this segment, I think it's really useful for our audience to know that psychotherapy is a rich context, a rich situation for synchronicities to happen, because the high emotion, intense need, and transition, which people are trying to do when they're in therapy, increase the likelihood of coincidences to happen. So we therapists are in a unique position to do what your research has been doing. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. And we're talking with Gunnar Reefschlager about his very, very interesting research in synchronicity in psychotherapy.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Elie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Yes. We are back here with Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and that is me. And we are talking with Gunnar Reefschlager from Germany, who is talking with me about his research in synchronicity and psychotherapy. And I can't emphasize enough to the audience, I am a psychotherapist. I see coincidences happening in my office. I think they are lots of fun and they are useful, and they tell us that something more is going on than regular psychotherapists pay attention to. I'd like to see more discussion among psychologists and hopefully psychiatrists, I'm a psychiatrist, about coincidences in psychotherapy, because they can be very useful, not only for the patient, but also for the therapist. I had one with a patient with whom I was playing around. I had a new pair of glasses on, and my back was turned to her when she walked in, and we were developing a pretty good connection. And I turn around, and for the first time after about 20 sessions, she's wearing glasses too. And that was the only time she was wearing glasses. It's the only time I wore glasses in my session. I just wanted to show her these purple framed things just because I thought she'd get a kick out of it. And there we were looking at each other through our glasses, and have not done that since. And that connection, that glasses connection, showed us that we were connected, and strengthened our connection, as synchronicities can do in psychotherapy. So Gunnar, what do you think of that story?
Yeah, I find it very, very interesting. So it definitely can foster the therapeutic process. So it's actually also what I found out in my studies, that also the more informed and the more trained and experienced the therapist is with synchronistic moments, the more he will be receptive to it, and also will be more also happening to him and also his patients, which, as you said, also can foster the therapeutic process in many more ways than as if it would be if you just go over it and would just say, oh, this was an incident, it didn't mean anything. So I find it very good to have knowledge about it and to be experienced by it.
Yeah, and with the glasses one, the pair of glasses synchronicity, we both had a good laugh. We were we were looking at each other and laughed with enjoyment of each other and our relationship. And that, as you're suggesting, enhanced the depth of our relationship. And it did. I mean, it was part of the process of her going from a person who had slashed her wrist and bloodied up her room enough so that nobody could go in there for quite a long time and then put in the hospital, to a young woman who's like, has a little bit of a job, or has a job, and is getting to involved with people for the first time in her life, really. She's about 23 now. It's part of a process. And you've mentioned, Gunnar, that therapists who are trained or sensitive to synchronicities see more of them, and their patients see more of them. Well, I think that's obvious why. I wonder if you would explain why that is.
I did not do research on why it is, but it is showing in general in the in the collected stories that they are more also connecting in a way with each other, where they are also connected on a deeper level, and by being connected and also more open, it can happen that you are just more receptive to experience things which are out of the ordinary. And
now let's look at this idea of connection, because I think the world right now, the people on Earth, are having to make decisions about our future. And that future has to do with whether we some of us keep getting more and more money and things while the rest don't, or we do something about becoming friendlier with each other. We become more like respecting each other's individuality. And there's something about synchronicity that respects individuality and connection. How do you conceptualize, after you're doing your research, the subconscious of the synchronicity experience? Where are the two people in the office connecting to each other in some kind of deep way? What's the unconscious, subconscious place or places or concepts that you use to understand that connection?
Well, actually, I did not look at the inner psychodynamic background of so-called of the participants in the study. So what I did was actually I went from an observable point of view to the concept, to the construct of the participants' idea of synchronicity. So what I'm trying to do, or what I try to do, is to build like a definition or like a concept of synchronicity, which is based on the empirical observation of it, which is so to say, in the first step, neglecting what the unconscious did in the patient or is doing in the patient or the therapist, but to just look what does the patient or the therapist understand by synchronicity, by exploring what Carl Jung meant with it, and by also speaking about colleagues with it. Every participant created their own idea of what synchronicity is.
Now that's an excellent question that you did there. It's very empirical. It's not getting to where you can't get to very easily. So what did you come up with, Gunnar, about what therapists and patients think synchronicity is?
Can you repeat the question? I just had...
Certainly. You studied the subjective understanding of patients and therapists of what synchronicity is. You asked each of them what they thought it was, collected their descriptions. And what did you find in collecting these descriptions of their understanding of synchronicity?
Well, they said that it is an extraordinary moment when they encountered the other person they were talking to. So this was something both sad, and it was also showing that it has definitely a fostering, a supporting aspect to the therapeutical process. So they felt better afterwards. They felt closer to the patient or the therapist. It made also their life more interesting, also especially with persons who were depressed, and they also were in general more motivated for the therapy, and went there on. Both the therapist and the patient, they wanted to join.
That's not what I thought you were doing, but I'll come back to what I thought you were doing. But let me emphasize it made their lives more interesting. I had a research assistant helping me develop the weird coincidence survey, and she was a very good statistician and thought carefully, but her personal life, she said, was enhanced by doing this research because she could tell people about synchronicity. That was her benefit to it. How were those people's lives enhanced? How did their lives become more interesting after recognizing synchronicity?
Well, they were, as I said, actually, that they were more motivated in
therapy.
Therapy, but also, as the therapist explained to them, and the more synchronistic moments they had with the therapist, the more they also saw in their own lives synchronistic moments, and they started to get another perspective on life, and not just see it by the way it's like a suffering way to the end of life. Yeah, but it's like they had more feeling that everything is connected, what was happening to them, and had more meaning, and which was also motivating them more creatively to engage more creatively, and to have a richer life.
They were no longer leading lives of quiet desperation. They could see things as more connected.
Yeah.
Did you have some idea what that means, seeing things more connected?
Well, to have a purpose in life, and to have like a more richer, more fuller, more fulfilled life, and to be also to have less anxiety also in life. But what comes next? This is very often a big anxiety of many people. What comes next? What happens if I start tomorrow my new job? What happens if I do this decision or that decision? And by understanding the concept and experiencing the concept, especially of synchronicity, they also lost more the fear, or their fear of the future reduced.
Wunderbar. You are listening to Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. And our guest is Gunnar Reefschlager, and we are talking about the benefits of synchronicity during psychotherapy.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Eli Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
So I was watching the X-Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back to CC with BB, your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and that is me. And that's not good English either, but it rhymes. Our guest today is Gunnar Reefschlager from Germany, and we've been talking about his very interesting findings in his study of psychotherapy and synchronicity. And we just talked about how some of his patients, and probably some of his therapists too, in the study, found life more meaningful in a lot of different ways. They became less anxious about the future, and they were able to find more coincidences to support the idea that everything is more connected than they thought. And one of the things that you said, Gunnar, was that they found a purpose in life. And one of my major ideas of synchronicity and synchronicity itself is that it helps with spiritual development, not just spiritual development, but psychological development. So it helps with both psychological and spiritual development. And you're implying, by finding meaning in life and finding a purpose in life, that they were developing also in a spiritual way. Am I understanding you correctly?
Yes. So I would fully support your statement that by increasing also the feeling of that everything is connected, you also go more to a different kind of realm where it goes to a transcendent spiritual field. And I would also say that this is connected with each other. So this I did not show in particular in my study. I did not look at this in my study. But I would also say, from what I heard and what I read, that this is definitely connected with each other. The spirituality and also the feeling of having meaning and connectedness in life.
Yeah, and that to me is something that I hope we can just now get more deeply into. That some of the people get into a more transpersonal realm where there's a sense of unity in this connectedness. And it's hard we don't have the words for it yet. Jung liked the word numinous to describe a kind of almost mystical sense of elation and wonder and connectedness again. And what I'm trying to do with my work on it is understand this connectedness idea, particularly connectedness to other people, and particularly connectedness to the earth and to nature and to the animals and plants and trees, and to recognize that we are not individuals standing apart from everything, but we are individuals that are part of everything.
Yeah, this reminds me of the idea of unus mundus.
Yeah.
So that the one world where everything is connected, and which has here also its root in many Asian cultures, where this is also a very big thing, or in Shintoism in Japan, is here also that the nature is the one big the one which is connecting everything around. So yeah.
And can you give us some examples, perhaps, from your 50 stories about how about a story that helped a person connect with not just maybe the therapist, which my story with the glasses illustrated, but connected them to the rest of nature, to animals and plants and Mother Earth. And Mother Earth is an entity that we need to be respecting more and more now as we tend to defoliate nature. So do you have stories that connected people outside of the relationship?
Well, when I don't think so, because it was like I aimed especially for the moments or the synchronistic events which happened somehow in the field of therapist.
So as we get toward the end of our last segment, what were the main results of your dissertation?
So the main results was that synchronistic moments can definitely foster therapeutic process, but as well the therapist needs to be trained, informed, and also experienced with synchronicity, with the concept of synchronicity. And the patient also needs to have a specific kind of ego strength. So like the patient, it is not advisable to speak about or to make it a big topic in a therapist when you have like acute psychotic or borderline patients who are under stress, who have a lower ability to mentalize and symbolize.
Now describe mentalize for our audience.
So mentalizing, as I understand it, is like the ability to get to another one person's perspective, but to be able as well to differentiate between one's own perspective, but also another one's perspective, and to keep this this kind of attitude. So
and so for people who can't do that people who can't represent the mind of the other person very well, they should not be involved with synchronicity. Because why?
Yeah, because they tend to get more psychotic, or in a way they ideas that everything is connected is like fixed or connected with an absolutism and also with the object itself.
Yeah, they can't make the differentiation between self and other, which is what you need to be able to do. And I had somebody contact me from Australia who wanted to get off her antipsychotic drugs so that then do some research by experiencing coincidences off the drug and report them to me. And I know people can get really confused if they see too many synchronicities, if they don't have a good self-other boundary. So what were some of the other results of your dissertation?
So that another result is that synchronicities are also like a construct of the intersubjective interaction between the therapist and the patient himself. So that it is something also what is built in the relationship, and moreover also the topic of synchronicities, or the reflection of synchronicities, can also be seen as an exclusive Jungian form of a therapeutic intervention. So something which does not exist in this way in other forms of psychotherapies. So it's something very unique in my opinion, and also in my research.
My first blog post in Psychology Today was the Jung scarab as a psychotherapeutic intervention. As the title. And now you've got that cat story, and there's that cat story is almost the same. And I've got another one that's very much like something appearing when the patient is talking about it. And what it does as a therapeutic intervention is it breaks the way the person had been thinking about reality and makes them have to think about something different, and perhaps the something different that the therapist is imagining that would be better for them to be thinking about themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I would support that completely.
And I strongly support what you're doing here, Gunnar. Are you going to publish a paper on this someplace, or write it up someplace besides your dissertation?
Yes, so I'm planning to do this. So I have it in my mind. So since I finished my my dissertation, so I give myself a little bit of pause.
Yeah.
But I think I definitely will continue writing and doing research about it, and writing also a paper. And I think it would be really helpful also to have a translated version of my dissertation, at least in some way, or there's some aspects of it. Because I think to make it available internationally by publishing it in English, much more readers and other researchers can look at it, can use it, can further it, you know.
And so, I strongly support your doing that. If you write a paper about it, summarizing some of what we were talking about, and you would like me to look at it, I would be glad to do that, to help you think about it, because you've got some very good ideas, and I would like to see that psychotherapists around the world get more interested in synchronicity as part of what psychotherapy can include, for just the reasons that you're saying. Synchronicity awareness during psychotherapy can be a very helpful psychotherapeutic intervention.
Definitely, and thank you for the offer. Thank you. I like that.
Oh, well, I'd be glad to. I think you've done something very interesting here. We've got about a minute left, and what I'd like to be able to hear the final idea you would like our audience to know about what you've done.
So the final idea is that I try to approach the concept of psychotherapy from an empirical based standpoint, and to try to build a definition and a framework for synchronicity, which is based on empirical evidence. And I did a first step in this direction.
Wonderful. There are some other dissertations on psychotherapy during psychotherapy and synchronicity, and they need to be combined. But thank you very much. You are doing a great thing, and I want to support what you are doing, Gunnar. I want to support it. You've been listening.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You've been listening to Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Gunnar Reefschlager, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Eli Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on SimulTV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is SimulTV. SimulTV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. SimulTV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have SimulTV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.